Good afternoon, viewers. This is Slick Sinister. That's my gamer tag. And this video was the first of hopefully many where I'm doing a segment called Tekken 4Thought. Now, this is in regards to Tekken 7. Now, I've been with the Tekken franchise for quite some time, and this is just the latest installment that I feel there are certain topics that need to be discussed or just a different perspective. Case in point. The very first topic I'm going to do right now is called practice. Practice. Now, if you ask some people, whether beginner, intermediate, or advanced, there's always something you can learn. There's always some way you can improve in this game. With that being said, I'm going to cover 4 points in my Tekken for Thought. That's how I have it structured. And it's going to be brief points just to put a bug in people's ears. This might help some people, it might not, but as long as this reaches out to people to help them improve in the game, that's my purpose. Now, the first one for that topic is I have mindset, quality, quantity, and resources. There's probably more, but I just want this to be brief, so these are 4 points I want to cover in my segment. Now, the first one being practice. The first and foremost, understand this, people, especially new people. There's a grind to this game. You cannot escape this. Well, there's a lot of information to be found out. Large move lists per characters. Things as far as how you get up off the ground, combos, wall game, breaking grabs, etc., etc. You're gonna have to sit down and take your time with this game. That is unavoidable. I've done it. People that some of you guys look up to enjoy watching play this game do it. In some shape or form, they put in the time to do this grind. You cannot escape that. If that's something that you have an issue with, that's going to really hurt you in the long run in getting better at this game. Also, in mindset, be willing to do what is necessary to get better. There are certain tactics or strategies that, as you start learning, might be bothersome at first. You may not like it, but in the spirit of competition, no one's going to let you do what you like. Your job is to learn how to be consistent in this game. Also, now that I mentioned that, you got to get used to being uncomfortable. In any hobby or sport or anything dealing with athleticism, whether physically or mentally, it's not natural for you to do certain things in that category. Fighting games are no different. When it comes to Tekken, just learning moves from your character, that's not natural to do. It will feel uncomfortable at first. But the more you do it, the more natural it becomes, including advanced strategies in this game. You got to get used to being uncomfortable with dealing with stuff, because there's layers as you start progressing further into the game. Now, as far as with mindset, you have to get your mind right and be prepared for that, because if not, the rest of the stuff is going to suck and it's going to be more frustrating to get better in this game. The next one I want to cover briefly is called quality. It's not so much the quantity that hurts people, because you guys do have the time, but it's the quality. Whatever you're learning, have a purpose. If you're just starting off in Tekken, I cannot reinforce, get comfortable with whatever character you're using first. I'm not going to tell nobody to learn frames. I'm not going to tell nobody to learn punishment. If you're a beginner, cold turkey, your purpose should be getting used to seeing what those moves do with whatever character you're using. It will be much easier for you to learn advanced steps if you're comfortable just doing the moves in general. When you're comfortable doing moves, then doing combos, or just understanding what regular attacks you should be doing with a character, then you can start adding layers as far as moving in the game and those kind of aspects. Also, in practice mode, repetition. For some people, it might take longer than others, but nothing becomes natural unless you do it enough, almost to the point to where you might be sick and tired of doing it. Actual fighters do this all the time. They can't tell you how many countless punches and kicks and grapples they've done, but they've done it so much that wasn't natural for them. Now it's natural for them to do those attacks. So their next step is they do tweaks here and there of what they should be doing. Same thing with Tekken. So you may have to repeat doing those moves until it's natural for you to do them. You may have to repeat that movement if you're at an intermediate level to where you're comfortable doing it. You may have to do it a lot. You may have to sit in training mode for 30 minutes to an hour just practicing certain combos, or just breaking grabs, or just moving around the board. You have to get used. You have to make it to where it's natural for you to do these moves and tactics. Because when people start putting little bugs in your ears as far as to tweak and improve your game, it's much easier to do that transition and make those adjustments. Because what happens is some people, they get caught up trying to do one or the other. You want to learn movement or advanced stuff so bad, you're not comfortable doing the stuff you should do in the first place. So you have some players, they freeze up in moments where they could move, or they freeze up when someone does something they could punish or dodge around, because it's not natural for them to do most of the stuff in the first place as a foundation. Now, when you do repetition and it becomes natural for you to just know that character, you create a base to where you can start adding layers and start venturing off into advanced setups, advanced strategies. I'm gonna move on to another one called quantity. Now, some of you feel like you have to take in a large amount of time into this game every day. That's not necessarily the case. However, if you can tell yourself that you barely spend a few hours a week learning this game, that's a problem. That's not productive. Now, you don't have to do this as a part-time job, but you gotta have to put in some time of actually learning in practice mode and playing people. If you're an individual that you tell me you do this game a couple hours a week and you barely go into practice mode, you just play people or you play rank matches, chances are that's not adequate training. And you're not going to see the results you should see. Now, some of you say you don't have time. Question, do you really not have time? Because many of you play different games, whether it's mobile games, first-person shooters, sports, and I guarantee you some of those other games that you play, you put in way more hours a week than you do Tekken. And you're probably more proficient in those games than Tekken. You may have to kind of switch that time frame to put in more hours for this game. Doesn't have to be a second-time job, but you can do just a small period of time and expect to get good in this game. Now, even though I'm telling you guys it's not that much time, you still have to put in some time. Now, it's not as long as you think. Some people, the players before that took years and years to get better in Tekken, the resources available now, which is my last segment, you can drastically improve in this game than years before. What I learned in this game before, you had online, social networking, a lot of streaming and videos. It would take somebody a year or two to learn a lot of the information you learn in a couple of months. You have constant access to players, a player base, whether online, whether meeting up offline. I mean, given current circumstances, probably mainly online. But there's outlets for you to learn. Network, socialize with people. If you notice that people are playing this game and they're passionate, you're only as strong as your competition. Even if they're not that good or they're better than you, try to network, try to get to these people. Now, some people may not help you, and that's fine. They're not entitled to. But there's a lot of people like myself and others out there that are willing to help people that want to learn, whether you're better than me or not. A lot of us are about building people up and building the community up. You know, get your name out there. You'd be surprised at how many people are willing to help you in this game. You know, you'll be also, when you're practicing and you want to get better, other opinions help. Somebody might might tell you a different perspective on how to train. Somebody might help you in a matchup. Somebody might be an expert with your character that you're playing, or might be better at using that character than you, and can tell you things that could, like that little brick wall you had, can be broken. I'm like, a lot of times you can't do everything by yourself. There has to be some type of help somewhere. And in a game like this, where you have 40 plus characters, Lord knows how many moves, strings, variations, all the help you can get helps a lot. And in this day and age, with the resources, including this video, you know, that helps anybody. Now, I'm gonna, this ends my brief moment, this introductory segment. You know, this is gonna be on my YouTube channel. Hit a like or subscribe. I'm Slick Sinister. I'm on PSN. You know, get at me if you want some help. Thank you.